Thank you very much for coming and having a chat with me. I've been listening to like some of your songs this afternoon, and I'm really liking Northern Behaviour.
Oh, fab.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Like the music of it, I was getting a little bit of like Rage Against the Machine sort of feel, and then obviously the singing and rapping starts, and I was like, oh, this is a twist. Okay, this is good. I like this. So yeah, can you tell me a bit more about the song, like how you came up with it and everything?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So the song started. We write songs in a very. There's not really a formula. Um,
Okay.
Sometimes it'll be some. The bass player Sol had this riff, which is the riff, the chorus riff in Northern Behaviour. Sent it into the group chat. We were all like, "Oh yeah, love that." And then I'd written some stuff about me and him. We used to work on a building site.
All
Um,
right.
and we did like 3-4 years sort of just solid grafting in just sort of kind of grotty building site really. And it was just basically a sort of homage to our time growing up doing that, it being sort of character building.
Mm.
And there's sort of almost like a celebration of how awful and at times awful it was, and how it definitely gave us like a push to keep doing what we're doing, and it's like this is way more fun. And yeah, that's sort of what the song's all about really. It's just sort of owning our sort of youth and what we did.
Right. Okay. That's cool. That's really good. So is it just basically when someone gets an idea, they just shoot it to everyone else, and it sort of goes from there?
Yeah, typically, yeah. Yeah, various people, because we all do a bit of writing anyway, so it's usually a very collaborative effort. um and a bit of a collage of everyone's sort of tastes and stuff, which is why you've got that kind of I think Northern Behaviour specifically is quite classic rock. It's got
Hmm.
that sort of very clear sort of rage inspiration, and that sort of metal rock. There's like rock
Hmm.
slash metal, that sort of like crossover there.
Yeah.
But then
It's
like
a
I
good mix. It's really good.
oh thank you.
We think
Yeah.
so. Thanks.
You'd hope to think that people would like it. So
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, we
It
we
does
like
help.
it. You've got to make music that you enjoy, and it makes us all jump about, and hopefully that translates.
yeah, I mean, I suppose it's have you played it live at gigs yet? Because I know it's sort of a new song that you've got at the moment. Is that sort of the song, if people haven't been moving, it's the song that gets them moving?
I think it's a pretty good energy point. It's quite an iconic introduction to the song as well, having that programmed drum beat. So when people hear that play from the sample pad, it's definitely a cue, and a lot of fans will know that there is about to be a bit of a drop coming. So it's good to pepper in. Disconnect has a similar effect. The
Mhm.
intro is known, so it's nice to start the show with it or something.
Yeah, I was listening to that one as well, and that's about during lockdown, isn't it? Now all the things that were on social media, because that wasn't a good time for anyone, and social media didn't really help.
No, it was sort of some sort of. It was like it felt like it was an escape, and then you ended up in this sort of death loop uh,
Yeah,
of just doom scrolling. Is a term that I heard during that time that I definitely can
that's quite
relate
accurate. Yeah.
relate to. Yeah. And a lot of these sort of problems of like, oh, well, I'm really bored, I'm not feeling great, and then it's like, oh, I'll go on that, and then you end up coming off most of the time you're usually feeling quite a lot worse. um
Yeah.
I remember it was like specifically a really low moment was the George Floyd murder in America, and then this like I'm stuck here, and how helpless we all felt with that anyway, and then on top
Yeah.
of that being stuck in this lockdown of like all I can do is just observe this horrible thing happening here.
Mm.
Was really that really set me back like just for a few days. It was awful. And that was a really sort of a clear moment to me where like that sort of social media was like not as good as it was for promoting and bringing awareness to it. It made me feel particularly awful for a long time. So it's got,
Yeah,
it's got its good things, but it's all about moderation and how much you use it and using it for the right things.
exactly. I mean, I suppose people being in lockdown, they were on their phones and social media a lot more than they normally would. So they basically saw everything that was coming up. Some things you might miss because you're at work when it goes out, sort of thing. But during lockdown, it was like we saw everything that was happening anywhere in the world. And it was all just easily shared. And yet sometimes even the little things were made out to be a lot bigger than they actually was.
Mm.
And
I
I think
think it's
that
still. Sorry, I'd say it's like increasingly relevant today. Like, I don't think it has to be just linked to lockdown. I'd argue like lockdown accelerated the applications and the use for social media. Like, I don't know. I feel as though I started checking it more then, and that's definitely stayed. Now it's more built into my routine to check Instagram or X. What a great platform that is. Which that
Yeah,
was
well,
laced in sarcasm, by the way.
yeah, I remember when we were recording it, and I sort of said to the boys, like, "Oh, am I being too specific about it being about lockdown and like lockdowns happened and like are people going to care that this everyone wants to forget that no one wants to really think about that and remind about it?" And it was the other lad saying like, actually no, it's still relevant, and it actually still, if so, it's even more relevant now to when we wrote it, which was really nice. And I think it has got a sort of, the message has got some longevity to it until
Mm.
until
Oh no,
AI
I do
takes over.
agree. I
Yeah.
mean, social media became quite relied on by everyone. Obviously, because in Messenger and things, you could do video calls and like WhatsApp as well. So it became not just the way that we got news, but how we stayed in contact with everyone. So it's still massively relevant because we learned that it's something that we've all been ingrained with now. Social media is the way to stay in touch with everyone.
Bands are like dependent on it. I mean, there's a massive
Hmm.
irony to promoting a song about, turning off your phone, and you're promoting it exclusively on Instagram and stuff. So it's yeah, it's just so sewn into the fabric of business and personal lives to the point where we wrote a song about it.
Wonderfully ironic.
Yeah.
No, it is true that social media has got so much bigger. I was saying to my husband, this will make me sound old. Um, when I was listening to bands like in my early 20s, there wasn't social media. It was basically like Kerrang radio or Kerrang TV or whatever else music station. And now it's so much easier to get your songs out there because of Spotify. I mean, Spotify, you can easily do a link and you can share it everywhere, and it does help. But it's definitely better than when I was younger. I've found so many bands through Instagram that I don't think I would have heard of without it.
It's
So
interesting. It's interesting hearing your perspective on that and how it's how you would say it's better for you, I suppose, as a listener now. Because I would agree to that as a listener. It's definitely, I mean, there's so much, that you have everything. You can't not. There's so much choice that you have.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's a love hate, because we can only like look at what it used to be with no experience of that,
Hmm.
and how like it was, you put out your vinyl or your CD or whatever, and people have that, and they only have 10 albums. I don't know, however many. Well, some people would have loads, some people wouldn't have loads, but you'd listen to that and you'd love that, and you'd listen to it loads and loads and loads. And I find now it's hard to demand or earn the attention with what you do, because there's just so much. What are you doing that's different from all of these other people that before there wouldn't be as, not as much I suppose as much competition. Competition is great, but it's like it's a very diluted, maybe not the best term for it, but there's a lot of music now, and it's hard to make yourself stand out. And obviously people are like, oh, it's so easy, you can just put your music out, it's so easy. But it's like, what, how or how can you expect anybody to listen to it when there's so much when there's so much there? Like, what's
I
making
get it,
people listen
yeah.
to you? You know?
Yeah, because Spotify, there's millions upon millions of songs. So but you've got to make sure that you're unique enough so that when someone listens to it, they're like, oh, I want to hear more. I get that. There's definitely a lot more out there.
Yeah, and people pushing for virality as well. Like that's a massive thing now in the industry. It's a bit, and it's built into record contracts now that they want specific bits used for TikTok, and it's got to be a specific point, and everyone's trying to find that specific point that will go viral. But like, I was saying this to my girlfriend the other day. There was that song, what was it? Blacked Out Big T-shirt, Billie Eilish. You know the one, Ben. Yeah, like, and I don't know who he is. Like, I don't know who this guy is, but everyone knows this song. Yet I have no idea who this artist is, and I don't know what he's doing now. I don't know if that's actually turned into anything other than everyone knew that bit of that song. Yeah. Other than that, what have you got? And it's like getting this virality thing is like, it's cool at the time. Building it as a career and using it to actually like maintain a foothold is completely different, and it's way harder than just being like, oh, we just need to go viral. That's fine, because it doesn't really translate properly.
And you've got to stay there as well.
Yeah.
But once you get that hype, you've got to do stuff to stay there. It does sort of make you wonder, like in the 70s with Black Sabbath and people like that, how did they get so big and then stay there? And they definitely didn't have social media.
Yeah.
Or the internet. But I suppose
it's a different type
of
graft, I think, isn't it? Like they would have gigged 100 times a week, you know, like some stupid statistic, and for a couple of years went crazy and you know, found some success. And it's not like, that's not to say that we're not trying to gig frequently or we haven't put our time in gig wise, but it's just a different landscape. And then just linking back to COVID, venues close, so it gets increasingly harder to book shows, and it's just the competition stays the same, but the actual infrastructure to accommodate something gets more finite or something.
It's all crazy now, isn't it?
Yeah, so we went down a bit of a rabbit hole there.
Yeah.
You just keep gigging, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You keep gigging, you keep pushing these songs, and you'll be fine.
Well, thank you.
It'll be good. Right, one question I do have: where in the world did you come up with the band name? Seriously.
Jake question.
Yeah, it is a Jake question. Credit goes to my dad, to be honest. The first time we've been together for like 10 years. So the first gig we got booked for, we just started. We were like 14, and we didn't have a name yet. And the promoter just put it on as Jake Milburn, and the other lads were not happy at all. Fair enough. So then we came up with some rubbish names, and we had some rubbish names for a while, and then we just thought, oh, we don't really like this. We need something better. And I think my dad just came in and was like, how about DeadWax? What's the bit? Because he loves vinyl, and he was like, it's just the bit in the middle of the vinyl. And I was like, oh, it's kind of cool then. That's got some sort of relevance to music. It's not just like a random word.
I suppose, yeah.
And we thought it was cool. We just like the sound of it, you know. I think that's half the time why people have names. Like, they just because they like the sound of it. It's got some sort of musical reference or relevance, which is cool. But yeah, that's just because it sounds good, really.
Fair enough. I thought it was going to be something really out there about how it came about. No, that's
our
cool.
First names were all DeadWax, and we met by chance on like a turn of the millennia. But no, unfortunately,
it was the first letters of all your names or something. Yeah.
No.
Excellent. And you're doing a tour soon, aren't you?
I don't think we could quite call it a tour, but we've got some
it's more
really
than
good
one
shows.
gig, it's a tour.
Okay.
In that case, wax out touring. We'll take that. Sounds better. But yeah, we're playing down in London at the end of this month. That's the 27th, which is a Friday. Yes, it is a Friday. Friday
I'm
the 27th.
quite possibly coming to that, so I want to see all the hype and everything.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, fabulous. If it's anything like our last show in London, I think we could all agree, Jake, it will be a very good time. It
was fantastic last time. It was our first show in London last time we went down. It's at the Macbeth, which is in Hoxton.
That's where it is next Friday as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. It's been run by a promoter called Half Numb, who was absolutely lovely to us, booked us for our first show down there. And it went really, really well. It was fantastic. We had people bouncing. Yeah, it was busy, which is all we could ask for our first, we were expecting like a room of nobody. First time down to London, the Northern boys coming down, like what do you expect? There's not really going to be much, but it was absolutely wicked. So we're just really looking forward to getting back down. Hope to see some of our some of the people that were there last time, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Excellent. Okay, I'm quite looking forward to it. I can't wait. I've not been to the venue either before, so I was like, okay, I can check this place out and check out the band. It's all good.
Yeah,
and obviously because we're coming up to Christmas, I can't believe it. What are your plans for next year? Have you already got some set plans?
I think the next
yeah.
year will be a good year for
That
us.
you can tell
Fingers
me.
crossed.
Yeah. Well, we've got some new music that's going to be coming out over. We're going to be having a new single drop in November, and then we've got some more stuff coming out in the new year. Hopefully with then a project that might be a little bit bigger for everyone to chew on, which is really exciting. And yeah, and then just more gigs, same as.
Awesome. That sounds good. I'll have to keep a list. Well, I'm sure Wes will tell me anyway, when new stuff comes out. But that's good. I'm glad you've still got more songs that are coming out. I take it, is the project maybe an album?
You're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, album might be a little bit grand, but yeah, why not?
If more than one gig is a tour, then make a little like
yeah, we'll base off that. Yeah, absolutely.
Well said. No, well said. That ups our output then by quite a lot, so that's wicked.
Always here to help, lads. So yeah, so next week obviously you got the London gig and you got a few others. What can people expect from your shows?
Whoa, big fusion. We are a alt grime rock outfit from Leeds, so a lot of northern swagger, hard riffs, a little bit of dance music, a little bit of grime in there. Yeah, an eclectic mix. It's for jumping around. It's not to stand still to. It's to have a party. Mosh pits, fine. I prefer a bounce, but you do your thing. Come and have a dance with the wax.
Excellent. Love that so much. Thank you very much.
That was well said. Yeah, that was well said, man.
I must say it sounded very practiced.
Honestly, I was just off the dome. That was
off the top, yeah. So that's a Jake excellent. Classic. You can tell he's a rapper, right? That was
you should know Ben. Ben. You should know Ben knows it wasn't scripted. He scripts everything I say.
Yeah, and all your points, Jake. You're doing good. Yeah.
I'll cut that bit out for you, and you can use it as a promo.
please, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, I've got no other question. Is there anything else you just wanted to mention while we're on here?
London can be a bit of a hike for some people. We are gigging up in Manchester and Leeds in November. We're going to be playing at Nice's Pie Fest and Garlic Bread Club in Manchester. So come on down. You don't have to be London based. It'll be worth the travel anyway. It's gonna be a good time.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. And hopefully I do see you next Friday because I want to check you out and see what you're like.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, wow, it'd be good to have you down. Yeah, it's gonna be a good night.
Excellent.
To mention, we are headlining, by the way. So it's gonna be a
I'm expecting a lot if you're headlining.
We're ready.
You're ready. Excellent. Okay, well, enjoy the rest of your evening, lads. And thank you again for having a chat with me. It was brilliant.
No worries. Thank you, Suzy.
Excellent. Thanks a lot. Bye.